Holy shit. Is that Efraim?
Was the real-life War Dog story as action-packed as shown in the movie? Did David Packouz and Efraim Diveroli really walk up to women and ask, how much? And did they really smoke a joint before meeting with military officials? War Dogs was brought to the big screen in 2016, starring Jonah Hill and Miles Teller. But how much of that movie actually reflects reality? As it turns out, the truth behind these gunrunners is much wilder than you would expect. Let's find out what really happened and what was completely made up in War Dogs. So, did the real David Packouz actually work as a massage therapist? Yes, that part of the story is true. The real David Packouz had indeed been working as a massage therapist in Miami before reconnecting with Efraim Diveroli. And just like in the movie, Packouz was also selling sheets that he had bought from textile companies in Pakistan. However, in reality, he was selling them to distributors that supplied nursing homes, not directly to the homes themselves. It was a moderately successful venture, unlike the struggles portrayed in the film. Was Efraim Diveroli really shipped off to LA to live with his uncle? You know, the movie does get that part right. Efraim Diveroli did leave Miami and go live with his uncle in Los Angeles, but the reason behind it was a bit different. The film doesn't explain that Diveroli was actually kicked out of high school in the 9th grade, which led to him being sent to live with his uncle. Did Efraim really become a millionaire selling weapons with his uncle? Absolutely. After getting kicked out of school, Efraim dove right into the family business of weapons dealing. He worked with his uncle in Los Angeles, purchasing seized guns and selling them back to law enforcement. It was a lucrative endeavor, and Efraim ended up becoming a millionaire by the time he was just 18 years old, largely thanks to his ability to secure US military arms contracts. But where did he get those military weapons from? Was there an actual website the Department of Defense used to post weapons contracts? Believe it or not, yes. The website they refer to in the movie as eBay, but for war, was very much real. It was called FedBizOps, and it had over 25,300 federal contracts posted that companies could bid on. The Department of Defense was actually required by law to open up each contract to public bidding, which is how Efraim Diveroli and David Packouz were able to work the system. Did Efraim really fire a machine gun on the street over a drug deal?
Yo, hold up, man. Yo. Come on!
No, that particular scene from the movie never actually happened in real life. The filmmakers took some creative license with that one, adding a bit of drama and excitement. Did any other friends work with David and Efraim that weren't shown in the movie? That's a great question. As it turns out, there was a third friend, Alex Podrisky, a 24-year-old pot dealer who was left out of the film. According to the book that the movie is based on, Arms and the Dudes, it was actually Podrisky who was sent to be the point man in Albania, not David Packouz. Was Efraim Diveroli actually good at lying and changing personalities? Yes, that part of the story is true. Efraim Diveroli was quite skilled at acting and adapting his personality to suit the situation. He would sometimes even use a deeper, more authoritative-sounding voice on the phone to appear older and more experienced. And the scene in the movie where he fabricates a dramatic story to save a contract is based on a real-life incident where his fib worked just as well. And here's one many of you must be curious to know. Were David and Efraim really stoners? Absolutely. The real-life War Dogs were definitely fond of their marijuana. They would often smoke pot as they pursued and secured federal contracts from their one-bedroom Miami Beach apartment. As David Packouz himself said, it was surreal. Here I was dealing with matters of international security, and I was half-baked. Did they also do cocaine in addition to pot? Yes, it seems that the real Efraim Diveroli and David Packouz indulged in more than just marijuana. In addition to passing a bong back and forth, they would also sometimes take hits of cocaine from a plastic bullet-shaped vial that Diveroli carried with them. They were not afraid to party hard while pursuing their crazy arms deals. Did they really walk up to women and ask, how much? That's a crazy question to even talk about. But yes, the real-life Efraim Diveroli was apparently pretty reckless about approaching women at clubs asking, how much? Or everybody's got a price, so what's yours? He was known to hit on them right in front of their boyfriends, just like the scene in the movie.
Nothing, bro. I'm about to get out of here with my girl.
Before revealing the next question, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Okay, this one's bonkers. Did Efraim and David really smoke a joint before meeting with military officials? You bet they did.
Well, we won't let you down. Sirs.
According to an article that inspired the movie, Packouz and Diveroli did indeed smoke a joint in the parking lot before a due diligence meeting with US military supply chiefs. Pretty big moves. And speaking of big, how big was the Afghan deal for Efraim and David? The Department of Defense contract that Efraim and David landed in 2007 was absolutely massive. It was worth a staggering $298 million. The goal was to supply ammunition to the Afghan National Army, including 100 million rounds of AK-47 ammo, as well as a huge quantity of other weapons and equipment.
The entire defense industry was scrambling over this deal, and the key to it was sitting in 23 shipping containers in the back of a rusted-out warehouse on the other side of the world.
Did they really underbid competitors for the Afghan contract by $53 million? Yes, that's another fascinating aspect of the story. Packouz and Diveroli's $298 million bid for the Afghan deal was an astounding $53 million lower than the bids from big-name competitors, like Lockheed Martin and General Dynamics. This helped them secure the lucrative contract. Did Efraim try to cut the real-life Henry Girard out of the deal? Absolutely. When Efraim Diveroli learned that Henri Temet, the real-life counterpart to Henry Girard, was charging them double the asking price just to be the broker on the deal, Diveroli tried to cut him out. He contacted the owner of the box company, Costa Trebica, renamed Enver in the movie, to try and negotiate a better deal without Temet. But Trebica's efforts were ultimately thwarted when the Albanians sided with Temet and cut him out of the deal entirely. Was David Packouz actually kidnapped and assaulted as shown in the movie? No, that intense and dramatic scene from the movie never actually happened in real life. The real-life Henri Temet, who inspired the Henry Girard character, never had his men kidnap and rough up David Packouz. In fact, as mentioned before, Packouz wasn't even the one who went to Albania. That job went to their third friend, Alex Podriski, who was left out of the film. Did Efraim and David have a major falling out in real life? You know, this is another area where the movie takes some creative license. In reality, Packouz and Diveroli did have a falling out, but it wasn't because of the confrontation with Henry Temet's crew, as depicted in the film. Instead, Packouz was upset because he hadn't been paid his full commission, despite the millions of dollars pouring into AEY. The two eventually negotiated a deal, but Packouz ended up only getting a fraction of what they had originally agreed on. Was there really a suspicious, mysterious death? This is a rather chilling aspect of the real-life story. While the movie focuses on the fictional death of the Albanian driver Bashkin, the real-life story involves the mysterious demise of Albanian businessman Costa Trebica. Trebica, the one who had blown the whistle on AEY's shady practices, was found clinging to life on a rural Albanian roadside near his overturned truck. Some believe his death was not an accident, but rather something more sinister, given his role as a key witness in the scandal. After watching the movie, some of you must be wondering if the real-life War Dog story was as action-packed as shown in the movie. Well, kind of. The film tends to exaggerate a few things that Packouz and Diveroli experienced in their dealings, because in reality, most of their risky activities happen behind a computer screen. They did travel abroad to check out arms stockpiles and gun shows, but they never actually came under fire while transporting weapons across enemy territory, as depicted in the movie. So, what really happened at the end? What punishments did Efraim and David face legally? In the end, both Efraim Diveroli and David Packouz faced serious legal consequences for their actions. Diveroli pled guilty to 71 counts of federal fraud and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Packouz also pled guilty and was placed under house arrest for 7 months. It was truly a cautionary tale of how their pursuit of the American dream turned into a nightmare. Neither David Packouz nor Efraim Diveroli has commented directly on the movie, but Diveroli did file a lawsuit against Warner Bros. For defamation, which kinda shows how they feel. What do you think? Did the movie capture the essence of the real-life events, or did it miss the mark in some key areas? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
How I wish